Hello, Play the Game family. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by Transfuse, the amazing premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula that is scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in their products. It is packed full of zinc, vitamin B6, vitamin C, sodium, potassium, and choline. And when you take this product, you are going to feel the difference on and off the field. I know that playing paintball with Transfuse has been a game changer, and it will be for you as well. If you head over to translabs.com, that's translabs.com, and use code PLAYTHEGAME, you will get 10% off. And if you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you get an additional 10% off. So you can take advantage of a total of 20% off on these amazing products. Also, head over to their Instagram at transfuse.official and check them out, and be on the lookout for their new flavors and brain booster nootropics that are coming soon. We absolutely love Transfuse from top to bottom, one of the best companies in the world with the greatest people running it. So head on over and become a part of their community and check them out. This episode is brought to you by the one and only G2 Paintball. If you are in Arizona or on the West Coast and soon to be nationally, be on the lookout for G2 training dates and be sure to sign up. They are a paintball athletics company designed to help you become the best paintball athlete imaginable by running you through all of the different moves and techniques that you need to know and you're going to be implementing on the paintball field. So that way, when you get into the situations, the muscle memory is dialed in. You are also going to learn skills. You're going to learn tactics, and of course the agility, which is training to maximize your performance on and off the field. This stuff is used by myself and Marcelo, and we're pushing paintball players to become pro or just dominate in your division. Don't make excuses out there. Physical fitness is at an all-time high in paintball, and you cannot win paintball tournaments unless you are ready to go physically on Sunday when you're dead tired and you're ready to hold up that trophy with your friends and family. So you got to be prepared, and G2 will help you do that. Head on over to g2paintball.com. Also check out their Instagram at G2Paintball, and give our man Victor Gamboa at Gamboa Limited, that's his Instagram, a follow and support him as well. It's owned and operated by Victor and Rusty, and they're doing tremendous things in the sport. We absolutely love G2, and we cannot wait for you to get involved. So have some fun with G2 Paintball.
What's going on, PTG fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. This episode, we have an absolute banger. We have one of the WNXL's premier professional players, Jenn Fulk. Jenn is absolutely dynamite behind the gun and behind the camera. She's been in love with paintball for a long time and has recently pursued a professional career in this amazing game that we have. So it was awesome to be able to have her on the show and sit down and talk with her and really pick her brain on the WNXL as a whole and the current state of paintball and what it takes to, become the best paintball player you can be out on that field. So without further ado, without any more talk from me, see you in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
PTG Nation, we have her, Jenn Fulk from the Heroines, amazing paintball player, and really just a breakthrough competitor that is dominating the paintball field out there. And we can't wait to hear your story. How you doing, Jen?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing pretty good. Yeah, awesome. It's awesome to have you on the show. One of the first, well, actually the first WNXL pro player on the show.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, man.
Of course.
The honor is ours. We're excited to pick your brain. And we were just talking about it kind of before the show, but at World Cup, you were showing out there.
I appreciate it. Honestly, it was a lot of pressure because, you don't get that opportunity very often. And obviously, at the beginning of this, it was a lot of this might happen next year. So we weren't even, we felt comfortable saying it was going to happen, but you never know with paintball. So that was a big thing for us, was making sure that we, took this opportunity and actually, did the best we could with it. So it was a lot of pressure, but you can only do so much.
Yeah, especially at World Cup. And
Right,
that was
exactly.
Saturday. The stands are packed, big venue. There's nothing like it. So to play on that stage is definitely, it's special. It does feel like there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of eyes. It's one of the most exciting things to do that I've ever done, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're excited for the WNXL, which is going to be making its really major debut in 2022. What are your thoughts on the WNXL and everything that's been going on with it?
Yeah, honestly, it seems, it's been about, 8 months now since I first heard about it. And a lot has happened really quick. So it kind of started, and I don't know if you guys want the whole story, but I can kind of give you the run
Absolutely.
through. Absolutely.
100%. That's what we're here for.
Cool. So basically, let's see, last summer, I was at the beach and I got a message from Rosie McCurley, who I had never spoken to in my entire life. To be clear, I am one of the only 2 members on the Heroines that was not part of Team USA. So I was kind of like the newcomer, and I had never really played with women ever. And Rosie called me and was like, "Hey, I know we don't know each other, but there's this, big opportunity coming up, and I want to snag you before somebody else does. So let me know what you think." So,
hey, real quick, I got to ask, why were you not on the Team USA squad?
So, God, that's another story. I'll try to give you the quick version. The combine in 2020 was happening while I was actually moving to California. So I moved from North Carolina to California at the very beginning of 2020 because actually Amanda Setzer had hit me up and was like, "Hey, you should come do Team USA." And I was like, honestly, if I had the time and the availability right now to do it, I would. But there was just a lot of other stuff going on. I was literally quit my job. Everything was changing. And I moved to LA, and I've since moved back from California due to COVID and a lot of other things. But there was just a lot going on at the time that the combine was happening. So 2020 was not really a good year for me to commit to all that. And then, of course, obviously, things kind of got jumbled with that anyway. So I'm not saying I'm glad it didn't work out, but it was just, it didn't work out for me at that time. So
that was the worst time to move to LA.
It was horrible. And that's a whole nother story for another day.
Of course.
But the very short time that I was in LA, I met a lot of great people in paintball. So,
awesome.
Even though I wasn't there very long. So, but yeah.
It's a mecca. It's an absolute mecca.
Yeah, it is. And I was very, heartbroken, but also relieved, because California and COVID was much different than little North Carolina. So there was some pros and cons about everything. So, but there were huge aspects of it that I missed from being out there. And, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
And those relationships will last on. You're able to rub elbows. Oh, we got a cat on the show. Tune in. We got to know the name.
Shout out to the YouTube.
So she was rescued from the shelter, and the person that had her named her Kitty, which is very unoriginal, but she knew it. So she goes by Kit now, or other various nicknames, but I'm going to try to keep her from jumping back into the camera.
Welcome on the show anytime. And cool. That's one of the best parts about PTG is we get to meet everyone's animals. We've got an animal coalition out there of PTG supporters. So we love them all, and they're welcome anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so when you moved back home you're back in North Carolina, is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So you moved back home and started obviously working really hard and have been sharpening your skills. What's it like out there with the paintball scene in North Carolina?
It's crazy because that was a big difference between obviously starting my paintball like career here and then moving to LA, and the difference in, you know, the fields. I mean, when I was out there, I primarily played at Camp Pendleton, which was awesome. Got to meet Nikki and Fran. And like you were talking about with relationships, like them and the Warpath family. So they play WC.
Oh yeah.
They took
shout out
my
to
husband
Warpath.
Chaz and I. Yeah, they're awesome dudes. And I keep in touch with them and with Nikki and Fran, you know, anytime I see them. So it's just like, even though I wasn't there very long, like those relationships last. But anyway, so out here in North Carolina, there's definitely fewer players. You know, so when you go to Camp P, you kind of have to wait your turn for field time and stuff like that. So out here, you know, there's not quite as many people at the field, which is good though, because then you don't have to compete for field time. You can get in there and get tons and tons of spins, like pretty much any weekend you want. And but then in terms of like teams, obviously, like there's fewer teams, but you know, they kind of the good players kind of congregate together. So obviously, out of the Carolinas, we have like the Carolina Crisis Camp. Those guys have worked their way up, and a lot of those guys are made out of like former Trauma and Gridlock players and stuff like that. So there's definitely some deep roots here. My home field is Paintball Central Greensboro, so shout out to those guys.
There we go.
That's where, you know, that's the home of Trauma and Staudinger and T Hump and all
Legends.
them. So yeah,
Legends.
Yeah, and they're still around. Those guys are still around. You know.
Yes, they are.
Do they come out and play?
I don't see Staudinger that much. T-Home's out every now and then. They started the big CFOA 10-man classic that we have yearly now at Greensboro, and that pulls in a lot of those older guys just to come out and play. A lot of the old school Trauma guys that kind of they have families and stuff, and they don't get as much, you know, they don't come out as much. But yeah, I still see Tyler and his wife Julie a lot, and those guys are pretty cool. So yeah,
that's awesome. So
yeah, that's such a huge part. That's such a huge part of the culture out there. You know, Trauma.
Sure.
My goodness. I mean, that's still.
Is.
Yeah. When's the last year they were a professional team? Was it
2007?
7. Yeah. And they're still a legendary franchise. Like people talk about Trauma, their jerseys, their style, the swag they had. Like they are still so relevant, which is
and
pretty
what's
cool.
Funny, so many of those guys are like not really on social media, and a lot of those guys will give me their jerseys to like sell because they've realized how valuable they are. And so I'll just go on the jersey trader and post like 4 or 5 Gridlock Trauma jerseys, and everybody's like, where did you get all these? I'm like, well, all these, you know, guys,
I know
they
people,
realize now.
You know?
Yeah. Well, they realize, oh, Jen's got, you know, a couple thousand followers on Instagram, like have her sell it. And so it just,
get your percentage, call it a deal.
Right?
Yeah. It seems like you need to start a firm.
Yeah, for real. Gosh, no kidding.
How long have you been playing?
So I have actually only been playing since essentially 2019 was my first season. I picked up, so my
breakthrough player.
I'll just give you my story then.
Hold on. Okay. Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're going to get into your story, but hold on. You've essentially been playing for not even 3 years. Like in total.
And
everybody listen, this is unbelievable. Go to gosports.com and watch the exhibition game they did at World Cup. It's insane. I mean, you balled out and we're going to get into that match, but I was watching, I'm like, damn, like fundamentally so sound, right? Decision-making moves, the ability to be able to attack down the field. I was impressed. I was like, and so you're probably one of the least experienced girls on the team.
Yeah. If you call experience just years playing, for sure.
Wow. Impressive.
Yeah, it's a good, it's an interesting point, but yeah, I do think that does quantify experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just playing.
Yeah. And to be 3 years in the game and be, like you said, making those types of decisions, being fundamentally sound, those are the cornerstones that make phenomenal paintball players. And, you know, you're already working with those tools in your pocket. So it's going to be cool to watch you develop over the years and really, you know, hone in the craft. And, you know, it doesn't matter who's on the other side of that field. She's going to be coming after you. And that's an amazing thing. That's what we need. We need a lot of that in paintball.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can really say about that is I spent a lot of years watching paintball, a lot of years. And I'll tell you guys my story. But I think that is a lot of times when players ask me, like, what can I, you know, lower divisional players ask me at the field, like, what can I do? Or other girls ask, what can I do? I say, watch paintball. Like I watched, even before I had ever played paintball in my entire life, I'm talking before I had ever played rec ball. Like I used to watch every single match of an event on Go Sports. Every single one. So like an event.
How come?
I just love it. I love it. Yeah. I loved it.
Okay, yeah, hold on. So we've been getting into like the origin story later in the show recently, but it's just fitting to kind of dive in now. What do you mean you just loved it? How did you see it in
Okay.
a magazine one day? Like what?
No. Oh God, no. Okay. So what happened is when I was in high school, I met my now husband. This was in 2008. I was 15 or 16 years old, and he played at that time. And he introduced me to the sport. And I grew up playing every sport under the sun. Was a multi-sport athlete. And so I'm extremely like unhealthily competitive, like to the 10th degree. So he introduced me to paintball, and this was, like I said, 2008. Went to my first event to watch him play. I think it was like an EPL or a CFOA or something out here in North Carolina. And I don't know. I was just like I didn't play at the time, but I loved watching him play. I just loved watching. I don't even know how to describe it.
What was it about the game that really captured you?
I wish I knew, to be honest. And here's the weirder part. So I'm a photographer. I've actually taken photos of both of you.
Yeah, you're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. But yeah, Chicago was the first time that I was on the pro field, so that was cool. But anyway, awesome. So I was shooting photos, and let's see, we got out of the sport around like early 2012. Went to college, did all that. So we got back into paintball, and by we I mean he started playing again. I started shooting photos again in 2018, like mid-year 2018. And when I say I had not looked at paintball, like hadn't seen it, hadn't followed it, I didn't even know the wall was a thing. Like that's how out of touch I was with paintball for those years in between like 2012, 2018. And we came back and literally like my husband was like, I think I'm just going to like go play. And I was like, what? Like we haven't played paintball. You haven't been there in so long. And we went, and the way that the game had changed between 2012.
Whoa. You said we haven't played paintball. Had you played paintball before?
No. I have never
you said 2019.
Ever played a game of paintball, have not played rec ball, have not played pickup, anything like that until 2018. So I had been to a bunch of events, tons of stuff, but I had never played myself, not even rec ball until 2018.
She was hardwiring though. She was watching. Yeah.
No, seriously. So
watching sports.
Like I said,
Yeah.
And what's funny is I'm not really into sports otherwise. Like, I mean, I grew up around sports, but I don't watch football. I don't really watch basketball or anything like that. So I'm not really that into sports. But like I said, when he went back to play and I went with him to the field to take photos and stuff, like I saw how much, to me, the game had changed from, and not just the game, but also the environment, especially like at our local field. Things were a little different in like the 2010 era than they were in 2018 to me. The culture had changed and everybody was very welcoming, and it was just a different environment altogether. So we went back to the field for the first time in 2018, and he got to where he was playing every weekend, and I was watching, and I was like, okay, I think I could do this, but wasn't really committed. And then we went to World Cup 2018, and I was like, okay, now's the time. So that was it for me. The first big event that I had been to since we got back into the sport. And then we got home from Cup 2018, and I literally played rec ball for the first time.
Nice.
Like one game of rec ball, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. Let's go play 3-man on the turf field. So I played literally, I'm not kidding with you, I played one day of rec ball at Paintball Central before playing speedball on the turf, on X-ball field.
And then 3-man or 3-woman, it was your first experience in that tournament style with 3 versus 3, which is really interesting because that's how Marcelo and myself started as well. And we always talk about how that's just such a great entry point for, players who are looking to get into paintball. Start with 3 versus 3.
Mm-hmm. And actually, funny you say that because, that's naturally like the way to get started. Like when, like literally first day on the turf field, on the X-ball field. And I say turf because that's what we have, but any X-ball field. And, but my first event ever was in March of 2019, and it was D4 X-ball. So I jumped straight into the deep end, like didn't do 3-man, didn't do 5-man, didn't do D5, just straight into D4 X-ball. And it was a horrible event. But the one right after that was great. And it was also the same format. So that first one, we just had to get that one out of the way. But I think my team got penalties every single point that we played. It was not fun, but it was a learning experience nonetheless. And it convinced me like, okay, this is actually something I want to do. So 2019 was my first season playing paintball pretty much at all.
Wild. So what did 2019 look like?
All right. So 2019 was actually kind of an interesting year in North Carolina, specifically at my home field, because they were actually in the midst of trying to essentially like revive the Gridlock program, including some of the original 10-man Gridlock players, including like John Tinker and Shannon Monroe and a lot of those guys who were part of the original crew. And so they kind of created a bunch of divisional teams to basically create this new version. And so we played a couple events that year. We went to Philly to play that year, the NXL, but otherwise it was a lot of regional events. And yeah, that was pretty much my first year playing, was with a big community of players at Greensboro, all playing under that new Gridlock name. And since then, they kind of stuck to 10-man, ICC, stuff like that as the true Gridlock. But that year was kind of like the quote unquote like Gridlock revival year. Yeah.
Historic team. I think
for sure.
Kyle was on Gridlock.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's,
Kyle came out to Greensboro one day, actually, in 2019, and came back to play with Tyler Humphrey and all of those guys. Yeah. Good
times. It's a riot. It's always a riot.
For sure.
Kyle, I just saw him recently. He's doing great. And shout out to North Carolina one time. Let's go.
Hey. Yeah, I'm the only North Carolinian on the Heroines, so somebody's got to represent it.
Love that.
For sure.
Yeah. So okay, my goodness. So you have a full season of paintball, and then 2020 hits, and we go through COVID year. How was paintball out there?
Okay, so let's see. At Cup 2019, Gridlock drew Warpath at World Cup, and we played them. It was an ugly match. It was rough, and people wanting to fight and whatever. And after all was settled, my husband Chaz and I went over to KP on Warpath. We were like, "Hey, we're moving to LA. Can we play with you?" Like, here we come with our like Southern accents. Like, "Hey, you gonna pick us up? Can we come play with you?" And so we went out to LA in January or February of 2020 and moved out there. Like I said, met up with them, and they were extremely welcoming. Them and Nikki and Fran, like extreme hospitality. Immediately asked us to come over and have dinner with the team and everything. So I can't speak highly enough of them and their hospitality.
Absolutely.
They're spectacular. Both of them, open arms. Anytime people go to the field, they get treated like royalty, and they make sure everybody has a good experience. And that's all you can ask for with a paintball field. We want to make sure we give good experiences, and they really do a great job of doing that.
For sure. Yeah, and I was kind of bummed when, things had kind of shut down for them there, because I loved going there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've created one of the best parks in the country, in my opinion. And Camp Pendleton wasn't always that way. It was always a decent park, is where the competition was, but the turf wasn't maintained. I mean, we used to call it the devil's carpet for a reason. It was so rough to dive on. I mean, everything was sticky, everything was dirty. And actually, from a photographer standpoint, that's not fun to take photos of, know, and this is something that Tyler and I have been talking about on, previous shows. Having a field that looks nice is a really important thing for our sport, because when we post pictures and we have like a dirty net background and the turf is all gross and the bunkers are messed up, I mean, it just looks like you're in a garbage lot, and that's not appealing to anybody. Nobody wants to go out to do that. So if you have a field where the turf is really nice, the bunkers are maintained, there's maybe some banners, along the nets, that goes a long way. It makes our sport look really professional. It goes, it speaks, volume. So Nikki and Fran have done an excellent job of kind of doing that with Victory Paintball, which is just so nice to see. So nice to see.
For sure.
Yeah, and be on the lookout for some PTG banners out there. We're going to be dropping some at some fields, so stay on the lookout. And just so you know, we got some banners up in the VR metaverse already right now.
We do. Oh my goodness. Are you in there yet?
No. And honestly, I walked past the Oculus at Target the other day, and I was like, I don't know about this, maybe, but I haven't jumped in yet.
It is no joke. Like you are legitimately, and shout out to Snapshot VR, because tomorrow, well, actually, by the time you guys listen to this, it'll be today. The layout's going to be dropped for the first NXL event, and it will be in the Snapshot VR game tonight. So we get to go out, play on it, kind of grind a little bit. Now the dimensions are a little different. The bunkers aren't quite 1-to-1, but still you get a really good idea of the field and get to like go over bunker names and kind of get just a for me, when I'm playing, I really feel like you're getting reps in reading zones, reading formations. Like if a player moves out to the tape and is looking down the wire, you know that the seam down the middle is open. And so you make that move. It just keeps the mind kind of firing on these different possibilities in the game. So I think it's amazing. I think you should definitely get the Oculus if you can and meet us in there, because we're building a full PTG family in there.
All
a lot of the Discord is in there. We got a GOAT squad, the whole thing. So shout out to Fab and all the other PTG members that have been just balling out in there. It's awesome. It's super cool.
It is. It's immersive. Yeah. It's insane how
it's nuts.
When you're going through it, you feel like you're in the game. Like I'm out there, I'm on the field, I got
my shout out to my Fab stock again. Everybody's been posting these lately because Fab, again, he's like the number one player in the game. Plays on team WTF, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Pretty clever. I like it. And he makes these things, and I feel like I'm getting real reps. I'm getting reps.
Yeah.
Body mechanics are being utilized. It's good. It's a good use of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And before I forget, happy 2-2.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I saw
multiple
that
two today.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? You're right. So we're gonna release this tonight because of that. That's right. I want the release date to be 2-2-2-2-2.
There you go.
2-2.
There we go. Lots of twos.
Yeah. Cool.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
All right, so let's kind of walk through, since we're already on your story, let's kind of round it out and talk about, obviously 2020 was crazy, moving into 2021, and then, how that all went.
Sure. So 2020, I actually didn't play much events, so that kind of worked out in terms of telling my story here. Yeah, COVID put a damper on everything. I did a lot of media that year, didn't play a whole lot of events, just circumstantially. And then 2021 was probably one of the best years of paintball I've ever had. My husband and I had decided that if we were going to play paintball last year, that we were going to do it on our terms and our way. And we built a team and pretty much just went through everybody that we knew that was local to us, that we knew could make practice, that we thought was a good player. Like we didn't do tryouts or anything. We just went to each one of our friends and we were like, hey, do you want to be part of this? And we built a team called Underground. And we played the local series here last year. We won the series, won 3 events. It was awesome. Nice. Awesome year.
Very nice.
That's radical.
That was super cool. And like I said, we just went through and handpicked, the best guys we knew and some of the nicest guys that we knew. And we were like, hey, let's do this thing. Let's go hard or go home. So
there we go.
And a lot of times in paintball, things are on the fly, or you jump on with who you can. And I mean, obviously not for you guys as much, but in divisional, you get who you can. If somebody's going to be gone that weekend, you pick somebody else up. There's a lot of chaos that happens, and so we were just like, no, look, we've done that multiple times and years. So let's just get some foundation here. And it worked for us. And those guys are awesome. Those guys are my family. And that was one of the things I told Anthony at the start of the WNXL is I'm playing with Underground in Division 3 X ball at NXL next year. So as long as I can do that and play the WNXL, I'm in. So
there we go.
So we're
and you're able to
this year. Yes.
Okay. So how is the scheduling going to go for that? If you don't mind me asking, because I kind of envisioned that the WNXL would kind of run congruent to the NXL events.
Yep, it does. And that's something that kind of shifted over time. So I think, and fairly so. I mean, I understand there's a lot of logistics to consider, but at the beginning, they weren't sure if the WNXL would be at the NXL majors, if it would be at minors, if it would be standalone. So there's a lot of discussion around that. And then I think the board of the owners kind of had decided to do it at majors for obvious reasons. And with that being said, I think that, I was just like, hey, I'll play them at the majors, but as long as I can do both. And Anthony Vitale has really worked very hard to make it where I can do both. And the good thing is that there's only 6 WNXL teams. So I think in order for everyone to get 2 matches in each day, it's only 3 matches like total. So I believe that, don't quote me on this, but I believe those will be in the morning. And then I'll be able to play with Underground, my Division 3 X-Ball team, in the afternoon.
Awesome.
Is how that's going to be structured.
Yeah. Anthony Vitale and shout out to Lori as well. They are such visionaries in the sport of paintball. The things that they've built and created to legitimize our sport with the combines, the summer camps, all of the different programs and things that they have their hands in behind the scenes. They work harder than almost anybody I know. It truly. Sometimes I'm like, Aunt Lori, just relax a little bit. Don't take on this project. It's like a little much. And here we go, full steam ahead, no matter what it is.
And they are moving and shaking constantly.
100%. And now WNXL and trying to, I do want to talk to you a little bit because I think it's a really cool opportunity the WNXL and even the semi-pro teams have to showcase paintball to the masses, right? And Anthony is kind of spearheading that of offering a webcast that is free to the public for that field, the premier field right next to the pro field. And I think we could do some great things with social media and the way things on Facebook and who knows? I don't know if he's going to put it on Twitch. Maybe you have a little more information than I do on what exactly the plans are for that. I know Anthony said that you plan to be kind of heavily involved and you want to do commentating and things of that nature. But I think it's a cool opportunity to see what we can do with that kind of platform, right? Like obviously we have Go Sports, and Go Sports is behind a paywall. They do an excellent job. It's the premier webcast of the best players in the world, the top teams competing. And it's an exclusive kind of thing, but we always talk about, I wish some of that was free. I wish people could just see that, if maybe it's Friday or Saturday, that's free. Maybe even the first game Sunday, because I really think that especially right now at this day and age, it would be received well by the public, and you guys are going to be on the forefront of that. And so it's so cool.
Right. Yeah. And just to step back for where you started, honestly, none of this, like the WNXL, the webcast, none of this would happen without Anthony and Lori. Like, I just want to say that up front. Like, I mean, I know that there's 6 teams involved and, Tom Cole and everybody that's doing a great job of making this happen. But those two put in so much work and they sacrifice so much just to make things happen. It's incredible. I've seen them make decisions last minute that directly benefit everybody. I can't thank them enough. Just put that out there.
Oh, they're absolute pioneers, like Marcella said, of the game. And we're so honored to have them in this community because they push it forward. They create, they make things fun and hot. And it's going to be really cool to just watch paintball grow and flourish into the future with projects like this that they have helped streamline. And they even, like Anthony, he's helping us out. He sent us an email with a bunch of info of what's going on. And he's just always there to help and be a guiding voice in the community.
For sure. But yeah, and that being said, I mean, he reached out to us and asked us what we considered important. He was always interested in getting our opinion on, do you guys care if this, if the webcast has XYZ, or, do you think that it's more important that we do this? So he's not even like a dictator. I mean, he always asks for our input and wants what we want and wants to, be a spokesperson for us as well, not just obviously himself. And so that being said, yes, there will be a webcast. The webcast will be for the new premier field that will be shared between the WNXL and semi-pro. I don't know if that's what's been released to the public, but that's essentially all I know. I don't know what it'll be streamed on. I do know it will be free. I believe it will be in very close proximity to the pro field and that it will have grandstands that will also be free.
Awesome.
Yeah. And obviously like this is, I mean, even like I'm part of the WNXL and I'm excited about it, but I'm also excited about it because I enjoy watching semi-pro paintball. Like I keep up with semi-pro. I have a lot of friends that play semi-pro paintball. So again, that was a big thing for me because I spoke to Anthony and they were talking about how they wanted a commentator like from kind of do it the opposite. So when the WNXL is playing, they wanted to bring in semi-pro player to commentate alongside the main permanent commentator, and then the opposite for semi-pro. So whenever I'm available, I'll be in there because I love it. I love to talk paintball. I feel like I'm really good with names. I feel like I'm really good at identifying, who it is on the field. Like a lot of times I'll be watching pro and Maddie will get like, Archie and Meter confused. I'm like, no, that's not Archie. That's Meter, So I feel pretty confident in my ability to tell who's who, whatever. So dude, I'm looking forward to that.
Maddie has the hardest job at the NXL. His brain has got to be just cooking up there.
12 hours a day.
I know.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how players have a signature though? Like for sure. Everyone could wear the same beanie, same everything. And I'm like, oh no, that's so-and-so. You could just see their body mechanics, how they move, the way they move, Yeah. It's definitely something that as a player, you learn to develop.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've been following like the semi-pro rankings for a while. I mean, like I said, I have a lot of friends. So
favorite semi-pro team?
My favorite? Oh God. Well, I don't know if it counts, but definitely the Tauntauns when they were in semi-pro here.
Yeah.
But those guys are insane. Next level. I loved watching.
Well, they're not a semi-pro team though. That doesn't count.
Exactly.
That does not count.
It doesn't
count. That doesn't count. Exactly. That is a pro premier organization.
You know what? My next favorite also is no longer semi-pro. It was going to be the New Orleans Hurricanes.
Really?
Those
Okay.
guys are some of the nicest guys I've ever met. Especially even as me, like when I was media, they were some of the most respectful and appreciative and just all around great guys. So I was
Awesome.
happy to see them get their time
Yeah.
for sure. But
And they have
yeah,
such deep heritage in the sport too, which is cool to see them back in
right.
the pro ranks running around out there.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, I don't know. I think it's open. I think that this year for semi-pro is going to be interesting. I mean, there's some killer teams that are, right on the cusp.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Semi-pro is thriving. And that's what you want to see. You want to see a really hungry, gritty semi-pro division that's going to be fighting to take spots on that pro field. That's what drives the game forward. That's what we need.
Right. And I also have like a kind of a bias towards teams that were that came up together, like
Of
those
course.
guys that
Yeah.
came up as a whole roster from
Mhm.
D3 all the way up and doing their thing. And I don't know. I
It's
just
hard
love
not
those.
to root for those teams.
Right,
You know,
right.
it
Yeah.
really is. Like it's a unique thing. It's rare. It doesn't happen often.
Right.
And you think of that organization, they become triumphant in each division together, and a team that could come. That's honestly why I've always been a fan of X Factor.
Right.
They were that story, and they truly did it and became one of the best pro teams in the world, which is like
sure.
an even cooler story. Dynasty as well. I wasn't part of that, but
Right.
the heritage is there, which is pretty neat.
For sure.
So as for semi-pro and divisional, is that a plan for the WNXL as well to eventually have semi-pro and division, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4?
Yeah, I think that's a long-term goal. I mean, I think there's a lot of goals for the WNXL. I mean, but that being said, I mean, you've got to get a ton more women playing to fill out that many divisions, as you know. So I think as of right now, I mean, we have 6 teams. I think they're going to try to increase that division first as more women come out of the woodworks and want to play, as not just tournaments, but like national tournaments. And I think they're going to grow that. I think there's a process in place right now to bring on new WNXL pro teams at the end of the year. I don't know it verbatim, but I do believe they have a plan for that. I don't think that there will be a women's like divisional system very quickly. I think that right now they have the women's like 3v3. I think they have on Sundays at the NXL, and I think they're trying to beef that up and maybe make it 5-person instead of 3, just to kind of like ease it into X-ball. And so I mean, they definitely have a plan, but it's just a matter of time before that kind of stuff can be fully fleshed out.
It's funny. It's all relative, right?
Right.
Over the course of the next, 3, 5, even 10 years, that's actually pretty quickly when you look at like a body of work of sports. In 50 years, that's a small piece of time, right? So if in 50 years that is the norm, you're going to look back and say, oh, it developed pretty quick over, a little 5-year span or something, right? But as we're living through it, it seems like a long time. But that's awesome if it is the goal, the plan. I think that's a wise choice. I think female paintball players is a totally untapped market, right? And I think we started to see it in Europe before we started to see it in the US. At least the players getting noticed or recognized. I could be wrong. Maybe the female paintball players in the US were playing, but just, I don't know, not coming to the major events. I'm not sure. But in Europe, I'd go over there and you would see there would be some girls that could ball. And it's like, I always bring up, her name was Nicholson. She played on PP Arena. She was phenomenal. She played in the pro division and she stunned it. Yep. She was just a flat out baller. Played the snake, was aggressive, had a wicked snapshot. She was a good player. So it has definitely been a long time coming that we tap into this market and start to encourage more girls, more women to play paintball, because it's an amazing sport, and it's a sport that. And actually, I do want to ask you this as well, because the controversy around the WNXL, right, is the gun is kind of the great equalizer. So does it make sense to have a all-female division, whereas, a female can easily make their way up and become a pro player in the men's league? What do you think about that?
So I'm with you, honestly. I mean, first, let me start by saying I think in the WNXL, so right now there's 6 teams. Each team can have 10 players rostered. So that's, let's say, 60 players. I believe there's only like a handful, including myself, that are playing on a divisional team like outside of the WNXL, whether it's at the NXL or, at your regional league in X ball, playing on a, co-ed team, and my honest opinion is I think that is extremely important. Like I 100% see the value in WNXL, and I can talk about that all day long. But to your point, it absolutely is the great equalizer. There's absolutely no reason that women can't play with the men. Like let me just say that straight out. Like that's absolutely fact. And so that's where like the kind of double-edged sword comes in with the NXL is, on one hand, the WNXL is fantastic because we have seen an absolute skyrocket in the number of women that just come to the field to play. Like totally. That's step one, right? So absolutely, just creating an environment that is more welcoming, that is encouraging to women to play. Like that is an absolute first step without question. And I think this is, and not just the creation of the league, but the visibility of the league, the webcast, and kind of giving it that pedestal just to be like, okay, to younger girls, like here are the girls that are playing, like putting some publicity around it just to kind of encourage them is fantastic. But then my other side of that is, so we have this league now, and of course we haven't played an event yet, but we're going to go out, we're going to play this event, and this is awesome, this is great, we've got all these girls playing together. But my only caveat to that is I do not want that to be the end all be all for female players. I really don't. And I absolutely want girls that are not currently on a WNXL team. Hang on, my cat is doing something.
Cat's going crazy.
Shout out to Kitty
back.
One time. Kitty's over there causing a ruckus. That's what cats do,
Hey, it's
sorry
fun.
about that. He's over there just banging against the blinds. I'm like, these guys can definitely hear that. So
he's having fun.
He is. Yeah, he just left the room, so we should be good now. So my other side of that is, like I said, I don't want that to be the cap. So I don't want all these girls that are getting into the sport to say, and I do want them to be encouraged to get involved with the WNXL and make a WNXL team and be part of the WNXL. But especially for the girls that are already quite involved in paintball and on a WNXL team, I don't want that to be the cap. I want them to continue to grow and to go, back, because a big factor of this is, especially for the Heroines, is we're not together. We live all over the place, so we can't practice together a lot. Like, we only get together every so often. And so it's important to, obviously when you're at home, to go practice with a home team, whether it's a team you play regionally with or what have you, but kind of continuing that path that you would have taken had the WNXL not existed. And like I said, I'm specifically talking more about the girls, even the girls on my team. Like, I just want us to continue to push and not be, complacent with, where we're at right now. So that's a big thing for me, is I absolutely want to see more women in Division II and semi-pro, and obviously even pro one day. I think there's a couple young players that definitely have that potential that I hope to see in a couple of years actually on the pro field. So for me, it's just, we can definitely work towards getting more women involved in the sport. But if we want to see, if we want to see that equalizer in those upper divisions, we have to continue to push women to play in the upper divisions and to work their way through, and not just, be quote unquote complacent with where they're at now.
I couldn't agree more. I cannot wait to see the first women's pro baller out there just stunting on everybody. That's like a dream of mine, actually. I've been like, maybe it could be you, Jen. You might be the one.
I can tell you who it's going to be. The first female pro player is going to be Janaea Curtis. She's 15 years old right now.
Shout out to Janaea. She's so good.
And that's the thing, is most of us are in our 20s. Like, a lot of us are in our late 20s, even almost 30s or 30s. So, this girl, she's 15 years old. She could be the next Smochov. She could be the next, who's another young player? Tim Stetzel from NYX. I'm trying to think of other, young players, but she's only 15. So I think her potential is just...
I was out at LLP last year sometime, and Anthony was like, hey, there's this girl, Janaea, out there. Will you just go and kind of, take a look at her, see, how she's playing? And so I invited her to come over and do drills with the team that I was coaching. We had a private field in the back. And after just like 2 points, I text Anthony. I'm like, yep, absolutely. She's in. She is really good. And it was, I couldn't believe she was 15. Just again, the way she was moving around the field, the fearlessness, 100%. So I think the WNXL is serving an amazing purpose in exactly what you said with, highlighting females in the sport of paintball and being a door to that whole demographic that paintball has not really marketed to before, and creating superheroes within that demographic so that it's not such an intimidating sport, because outside of that, it could be an intimidating sport for anybody to get into. It's just, it's
Totally.
it's dirty, it's gritty, it's a intimidating sport all around. You're getting shot with paintballs. And so to have that bridge opened where you're creating these superheroes out of that demographic, it's, to me, an amazing thing. And then if one decides, hey, you know what, pro over here is just like over there, but I'm going to go over there and I'm going to dunk on those dudes and show them that I could do it over there too. I think that would be so tight. It's a great story. And, for me personally, I'm more of a fan of doing things for the first time than kind of following in with what other sports do. Who's to say that we can't be the first sport? We obviously, like, you look at basketball, there's the men's and the women's. You look at other sports and they kind of separate them. It would be amazing for paintball if that happened. Again, it's a great story, and storytelling is the foundation of success in sports. That's all it is. It's storytelling. That's all people really care about. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, what we do, it means a lot to us as the athletes, right? We take it as more than entertainment, but the only reason anyone gets paid from sports is because it's a great form of entertainment. So to me, that makes for an amazing story. You see a female paintball player come into the men's pro division and start dunking on people, lighting people up. That's dope. That's really cool. That sells. To me, that sells tickets. It's awesome. And I'm excited.
I got to boost curling too. I was watching the Olympics. And
shout out to curling.
Curling is also co-ed, and I love it.
Yo, curling is sick. Okay, I have got to admit, I've talked so much shit on curling. I'm like, how is curling in the Olympics and on TV? It seems like during the Olympics, every time you turn it on, it's on curling. I'm like, how long do they play this game for? I got stuck watching it for almost 2 hours.
It's great.
It was USA versus Switzerland, I think. I think that's what it was.
How was that sport even invented? Like, I don't even know the history of how that.
Where do you go to practice? Where do you practice curling?
I dove deep into Google on, like, what are the rules? How do you play all this stuff? I was so confused about the sweepers, found everything out. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is interesting. So I'm sitting there watching, just like, oh, an amazing shot. It's crazy. But
I want to put this out there too. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're really good at paintball and you love this game, you're going to get on that pro field. It doesn't matter. Totally. If you apply yourself and if you put yourself wholeheartedly into this craft and you want to be pro, God bless you. You're going to be on that field, and we'll make sure of it. And that goes for anybody out there.
Yeah. No, again, I just want to, reiterate, because obviously we hear the controversy on both sides, but to me, I think it serves an amazing purpose for the sport. I think it is about time, and I think it's going to open up doors and opportunities. Shout out to Kitty.
There we go.
Kitty's back for the YouTubers. Kitty's back, just dancing across the screen. But it's a great thing, and I'm excited to watch as well. Hopefully, I can get over and commentate some games again after watching the exhibition game at World Cup. I'm interested in some of the personalities that are playing. You're one of them, absolutely. Again, that's partially why we have you on the show. But I'm interested in some of the players. Shout out to Brittany Vang as well for I think she won the MVP at that event. Is that right?
Yep.
What a stud, she really showed out. She had some game-saving moves, and I think she recently started playing. That's Ben Challenger's girlfriend. Yep. And I think Ben started teaching her like last year or something crazy. And
no way.
Yeah, it's insane.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. But again,
crazy.
Just seeing like the different personalities and storylines, Alicia as well. Alicia. She played so phenomenal as the 2 on the snake side in that event, and just seeing her timing and how she made moves and her decision making, it's phenomenal. Brittany Wagner, she was on the other team of you guys. She's been in the game a long time. She took a big break and now she's back. Had some amazing points. So I'm seeing these characters develop. And again, I look at any sport, you have your characters, right? You have your personalities. Again, it's a storytelling. That's what people are following. And I'm like, I'm interested in this. I want to be able to be in the commentator's booth and talking about this and seeing how these athletes develop and stuff. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be really cool. And I'm glad that the world is going to get to see this for free as well, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. And to your point, I mean, I think, the exhibition, if anything, was less, you had I think 5 teams kind of mixed in across 2. So it was a little, it was multiple teams on different lines. So it was a little bit jumbled from like a viewer's perspective. I mean, a lot of my friends were watching at home and they're like, I can't wait a second. The scoreboard's backwards. Like, I'm not sure, So I think if anything,
the damn
once
scoreboard was so off. They can't do that. Come on, Go Sports.
Well, honestly,
you have one job.
I'll give them
Get the
this.
damn scoreboard right.
And it was wrong on the field too, but I will say it was a 20-minute match. And I think it was like, at first it was supposed to be like Mercy 6, but I think they ditched that too. So I get that it was not a normal, like programmed amount of time and stuff. But anyway, so.
No. But they can get the score right. It kept flipping like fire and ice. I'm like, hold on. I thought fire was up 6-2.
Right.
What's going on?
Okay.
It switched. So Go Sports. Come on.
There was a point. And I'm sure if you just recently watched it, you saw it. There was a point where it was a 2-on-2, me and Nicole Gates against you. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this, but like, we can sit here. Like, I don't want to sit here for this exhibition, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to go.
Smart.
I'm not going to go get shot for the sake of the time. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why.
Play the game.
So, right. And
gotta
so
play the game. Exactly.
we come back after they concede. We come back into the pits and the scoreboard shows that we conceded. So I'm like, Brad, why did we concede?
Right.
And he's like, no, I don't know. And then Jason comes over. He's like, no, it wasn't you. So honestly, it was just chaos. But anyway,
we're in such early stages of this whole paintball thing.
Right.
Like if you look at baseball, basketball, I mean, we're talking 100 years plus in some of these sports. We're 15. I mean, 20 really, of like professional. We are in the baby phases, and so all of this stuff, I mean, it's easy as a fan to watch. I'm like, what the hell? Why can't you have this together? Are you kidding me? Like, what? How is there an inadvertent horn? Like, what are you talking about? This is crazy. But we're working stuff out.
Yeah, it adds to the excitement, man. It's like,
that's
let's
keeps you
go.
guessing. Keeps you guessing. Keeps on your toes.
Yeah, it does.
But,
it does keep you guessing.
But I mean, that being said, like I said, the exhibition was a lot at once. So I think once we have the teams broken down and, we all have different jerseys and it's not like, oh, this line is from one team and this line in the same jerseys is a different team. It's not, quite as whatever, then I think it'll be obviously a little bit more digestible for a lot of people and it'll help build those personalities and those stories because it was definitely super fun to play the exhibition, but we kind of knew when we were going in, like what the intention was. So I'm definitely excited about the first event. I think it's going to be, and just the first year in general, because like you said, we are in the early stages. And that was one of the key reasons that I agreed to be a part of it was just like, I would hope this is only going to get bigger and better. So even if it's 10 years from now and I'm 38 or I'm 48 or however many years it takes, like at least I was, part of it at the beginning, even if we find all the little issues and we deal with a bunch of, less than ideal situations this year, all the things that come. At least it was. You got to part of that.
Yeah, you got to embrace those because those are the paving stones of the success journey. It's all of the ups and downs, and being able to cross those bridges that might be pretty difficult. But if you get across it, then you're even stronger, and it's going to be really exciting to watch this develop. I cannot wait to watch the women's paintball demographic flourish because it's just such a great sport all the way around for people to play. And like Marcella said, the women's market space is completely it's pretty small, so if we could
untapped.
If we can get that to even 25-30%, get those little increases, we're going to see. And then if you get moms playing paintball, then everybody's playing paintball. You know what I mean? Pretty much that's all we need to do is once we get the moms playing, then it's a done deal. Everyone plays paintball.
Gosh, I know a couple moms that play.
What about grandma?
And grandma too, yeah. She balls. I know grandma.
There was honestly, okay, so funny story, back when we were at paintball back in 2010 probably, when my husband Chaz was playing, there was this lady that came out there that played. I wasn't even sure how old she was. She was definitely 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And she was a baller, was not scared of anybody, anything. Like she was just fearless. Yeah. And we left the sport for, like I said, 6 years. We came back out and she was back out there playing. And I was like, this woman slaps. Like she does not care. Like, and I still, to this day, I look up to her and, and just
that's so
how
cool.
she doesn't care about, who she's playing against. She's just there to have fun and she's awesome. So
that sounds like Grandma Harmon. Actually, my mom is a beast on the paintball field. When I was like 11 or 12, we would go out and play, and no lie, she would work me. She was good. I was like, Mom, how are you getting? I was like, stop this. And
Yep.
then she is just always, she's an athlete as well, though. Worked out and played sports, and would always give the guys a run for their money in any sport that she played in against them. And so it was really cool. Those are like cherished memories of mine. And I'm sure if grandma stepped out on the field today, she'd still be pretty dang good.
For sure. For sure.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's fun
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I'm incredibly excited for this next year. Again, I think paintball just as a whole is in a really good spot. I think there's a lot of excitement. There's been a lot of things going on. We've been talking about this on the show as well. It's been so cool to see Sports Center even post paintball clips on Instagram, and it hasn't been once, not twice. It happened 3 times. That's significant. That's telling that they made their post and they realized, hey, this is getting some traction. There's something to this. And so they posted it again and it did well again, and they posted again. So I think we're in a spot where there's more eyes on the game than ever before, and something could happen. We're also in a weird time in society where exclusive niche things are awesome. Right? Like that's what people want. They're looking for these niche kind of out of the box, whatever it is. And paintball fits that perfectly.
With some power too.
Absolutely. You look at like video game culture. We check all those boxes. We check so many different boxes than the normal, basketball and football, which are amazing sports. They're always going to be there. They're staples. But I think this next year, if the league and the players and everyone in the paintball community kind of aligns themselves in the right way, and we present this thing in the right way, we could, finally get that big break, quote unquote, as they say, that the sport has been looking for.
For sure. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Actually, fun fact, I filmed one of those that got on ESPN.
No.
Yep.
Which one? Slide cancel?
No, this was the, so it was posted by Matt the Gym Rat.
Yeah.
And it was, so I filmed that one because it was so funny because it was at World Cup 2020 and I ran over, he's just a friend of mine. And and I just ran over there and took a quick clip of his brother playing, them playing. And I had honestly forgotten that I took that. And then it blew up and I was like,
you didn't even get your credit on there.
Yeah. And I had forgotten. I had completely forgotten. And then Matt was like, yeah, Jen took that. I was like, yep, you're absolutely right. I did. And I mean, good for Matt.
We'll give you your credit here on PTG.
Hey, there we go.
Let's go, Jen. There we go.
Hey, support your media. Support paintball media, for sure.
That's right. She hit it right on the head there. Support paintball media. That is
absolutely.
Right.
We have a whole, in our Discord, we have a whole page for media, and we want all the photographers and videographers to show out in there. And what's cool is actually, I think quite a few of them have been booked by different teams. That's paintball media is so important because that is what showcases what we do. Without paintball media, nobody knows what we do. Period.
Yeah. And it's funny
I'm so thankful to the media.
Yeah, straight up.
It's so funny because we also joke that paintball is the most vain sport. It's I played every other sport and it's you got photos of you playing basketball or baseball, but paintball is next level. You've got the you can customize literally everything. So, you do your thing, you get your photos, and it's that was one thing that was very interesting to me when I came to paintball was how expressive and how important photos and video and media was in paintball and compared to traditional sports that I had been involved in.
Well, it's so unique and it's so exciting and it is individualized. The player, like you said, they can express themselves in so many different ways. The style that they actually play on the field dictates, certain types of photos that can be taken. The way you wear, headbands. This is why headbands are such a thing. What other sport has something like that where you have this, a unique piece of clothing that is unique to you, right?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
Well, the YouTubers, a lot of the famous YouTubers are starting to catch on to the whole headband thing, and they're starting to wear headbands.
Yeah. While they play video games.
Honestly, funny story. So back when I was in high school, like I said, I didn't play back then, but I was involved. I was doing media and stuff like that, and I actually would wear an HK, the old school HK headbands, PB Fashion headbands. I used to wear those, but when we would warm up before my softball games, and then I put an HK, the original crossbones sticker on my helmet, and people were like, "What is this? What is this that you're wearing?" And I still to this day have photos of that, and I'm just God,
dang.
This culture
HK
is-
family alumni. Let's get it.
yeah.
HK is just a giant. Look at what they're doing now too. It's
Yeah, no,
unbelievable.
honestly, and that was another
It's so cool
thing.
to
When we
watch.
got out of paintball, like HK was still, I mean, they weren't huge, but they weren't tiny. But like when I got back in, you know, like I said, when we got back in, I was like, oh my gosh, so many things have changed. And when I saw how big they had gotten, I was just like, holy
Yeah.
cow.
I mean, they used to travel around in the SS Minnow, this little podunk vehicle that would just rip around the country and press headbands right there out of the, you know, the
Yep.
minnow. And now they're one of the biggest paintball companies in the world. So it's pretty astounding. They've done a lot.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, they're up there. I mean, they might be the second biggest paintball
Yeah.
company in the world.
Probably.
You know?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I think so.
Shout out to HK and what they've done. They've set the example of you know, really just hard work and dedication and sticking to what they've done. You know, they have just been full steam ahead, working their butts off since day one. So their story is awesome.
And the work ethic is
Yeah.
unmatched.
Yeah.
I mean, they work harder than anybody in the industry, and that's how you get it done right there, you know?
Well, and talk about media too. Again, they
Oh, man.
contribute so much to paintball. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
gosh,
you know, the
media
old
is so
school like
important.
Cassidy Sanders videos, like those were
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
when one of those came
Yeah.
out, like you were just like, all right, just wait
Yeah.
until it dropped on like PV Nation and like the small talk or whatever. And it's like it was next level. Yeah, he was doing something else back then.
Yeah, we're actually
That's funny.
looking to have Cassidy on shortly. I've
Bro,
been
stop teasing that.
No,
We've been
I've been-
teasing that since episode 4.
Hey, he dropped
Yeah,
it now.
but Cass-
One day we're gonna get the unicorn.
yeah, Cassidy, and I just messaged Be Real today too, just seeing if
I
I
love
can.
it.
You know, you never know unless
love
you
it.
ask. So we're gonna keep
Yo,
asking.
the knees over toes guy followed me on Instagram today. That's a good sign. We might be able to get him on the show. That'd be tight.
That would be
That'd
insane.
be epic, dude. He's,
That would be
he's
insane.
major. He's like changing lives, dude.
I literally
I love this guy. I
Bought
love
his
him.
book because of you. Yeah,
No. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude,
Yeah.
that's epic.
I got the book.
Hell yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's crazy. The things that I'm doing in the gym and like the confidence it's giving me in my athletic abilities is just it's next
Yeah.
level. It's crazy.
And that's life changing for so many
It
people
is,
out
man.
there.
Yeah,
It really
absolutely.
is.
And you know, seeing a lot of his videos too, like, yeah, it's great that it's helping me be more athletic, but it's helping elderly people walk and get back to being able to move
Yeah.
around confidently. I'm talking like people in their 70s, 80s. It's amazing. It's just phenomenal that
Mhm.
this
There we
is an
go.
untapped development. Shout out to the kitty one more
That'll be the
time.
last one, I think.
No
Yeah.
way. No, we gotta actually have the cat give us a meow or something through the mic and make itself known.
Cats
So
don't listen.
yeah, I know.
They don't take orders.
They
not
do
from us
not.
peasant
Yeah.
people like us.
They do what they want when they want, 100%.
They're the masters. That's for
Jen,
sure.
Jen, what kind of workouts do you do? What kind of training do you do for paintball?
Well, you know, I honestly wasn't doing very much prior to like World Cup this past year. But like you mentioned on the exhibition, I was going front Dorito, front snake, front Dorito, front snake. And whenever I joined this team, I kind of got, and I told Brad that I was a front player, so I don't blame him for putting me in the front, but I definitely realized like this was going to be part of my 2022 season because I'm going to be playing 4 prelim matches in a day, 2 with the WNXL and 2 with my divisional team. So I knew I had to do something about that. And so I started by trying to do more running, and I loathe running. I absolutely hate it. And it is one of those things where I was just like, if I'm going to do this, I'm never going to want to do it. So I went and kind of switched over to like a little bit more just lifting routine mixed with some cardio and some core. But yeah, I just
refuse to run.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I don't do it. Won't do it.
No,
You don't need to. You don't need to for the type of cardio we need in paintball.
Right.
It's true.
You're just
honestly,
slamming your knees into the concrete. It's silly.
dude, my knees, gosh. But yeah, I had been running and consistently, and I was like, man, I didn't feel like it was getting me very far. And so I kind of put running aside entirely and started doing, like I said, more heavy compound lifts. And it was not actually a couple of days ago, I actually was like, okay, Jen, got to make yourself run. Like, let's go run. And I ran, and I was like, wow, like I am not gassed. Like this same run that I did on the treadmill, like I would have been gassed like before I had gotten into this, more consistent lifting routine. So that's definitely my word of advice to any ladies is, get your lift on for sure.
There we go.
Yeah, people don't realize that if you gain muscle mass and your legs get stronger, it does help with your cardio because you use less oxygen. Your muscles have better endurance. So it's less strenuous on the body when you are running.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely, I was definitely
absolutely.
pleased to see that it was actually doing something and I didn't have to run, that much every day.
And also having strong calves, like focusing on the calves is very important because that muscle in particular helps to pump the blood back up towards your heart. And that is one of the main contributors of how efficiently the blood moves through the system is in those calf muscles. So really making sure that you dial those in too will be huge. Plyometrics as well, lots of jumping.
Really all you got to do is the knees over toes guy. He's got you.
Yeah.
He's
I listened to
got you.
the last episode that you guys, I think it was Zupa's episode where you guys were talking about him. And I was like, I literally I was actually in the middle of my workout and I looked this guy up. I was like, who is this guy they're talking about? So
it's unbelievable. I'm going to be able to dunk soon. I can't wait. I'm going to be able to dunk and I'm going to video it. And it is the only thing that I want to accomplish athletically by the time I'm 35 years old. Actually, you know what? 33 is 2 years away. That is a better number. It's my number. I like that. 33, got to be able to dunk. You know what I mean? Like, I'm putting that on air. I have to be able to dunk by the time I'm 33. Like that would just be so sick.
It's got to go on the gram or it doesn't exist. Come on.
I mean, where else is it going to go? Of course it's going on the gram. What are you talking about?
So you think that you're going to just be dunking back-to-backs on him by 33?
I mean, this is what he said happened to him, So if his story is true, then my story could be true too if I put in the work.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Marsh is an animal on the court, so watch out. Anybody wants to play him for a gold coin, he'll take your coin all day.
I'll play people for gold coins for sure. Absolutely. I was playing some ball today. It was a lot of fun. Getting buckets.
It's good for paintball too. Basketball.
Great cardio. Yeah, you get like the just high intensity, like maximum interval. You go 100% for one defensive play. You're all out every muscle in your body. It's so physically demanding.
Yeah.
100%. It's great exercise for paintball.
Also, the cuts that you do, sometimes you have to cut on a dime when you're playing basketball, and sometimes in paintball you have to do the same thing to dodge the stream. So getting those muscles tightened up for making those cuts is really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Shout out to the women's WNXL. There's 6 teams in the circuit, and I think that they talked about trying to add 2 to 4 more by 2023. I kind of want to do a highlight of each one of them. We have the teams here. I don't know if you want to, debut, to everybody the Heroines and kind of talk about your team.
Sure thing. So on the Heroines, we have, like I said, we're from all over. A lot of the Team USA girls that you probably know. And of course, we have Brad, which is a huge, huge asset to the team. I mean,
that's major.
Yeah. And I've only played with them a couple of times now because we played before, like we practiced before Cup and then at Cup and then a couple, like I think once or twice since then. So, like I said, I wish we could get together more often, but I wouldn't trade our roster for anything. Even though we're spread apart, these girls were on Heroines, were selected for a reason, and I have faith in all of them. And we'll have the first five that go out, but anybody that's coming on after them, I trust them just as much. So, definitely looking forward to showing what we got. And then you want me to go through the other teams?
No, just I guess we could just highlight that, Rosie and Brad are, captain and coach, which is monumental. Mm-hmm. The amount of knowledge that they have in paintball is going to be such an asset for you guys to have success out there. Mm-hmm. And then how many players total are on the team?
So roster cap is at 10 and we have 9 on ours right now.
Nice.
Yep,
let's shout. Can you think you could shout out all 9 players on?
Oh, yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right. So, obviously Rosie, awesome captain. She's the real deal. And then myself, Alicia Valdivia, and I can even give you all their numbers if you want me to.
Let's go. Let's
all
hear
right.
it.
So Rosie's 12, Alicia's 3, and then we got Krista Titus, 77. Clipboard Krista, and then we got Janaea Curtis, young 15-year-old.
Hold on, Clipboard Krista, where does that nickname come from?
So we were at, before Cup, we had a very last minute practice at Prime Paintball, and I literally flew from North Carolina to Prime to practice and left and flew home that day just to get a practice in with them. Like, that was the first time I had ever met them, really, like, ever.
Dedication.
And, it was serious. And we didn't have Brad or Anthony, so we didn't have a coach there that day. And so Krista was trying to do everything, and she had the clipboard and she was making plays, and so we kind of we're joking and call her Clipboard Krista.
Gotcha.
And so now it's just
Nice.
a kind of a running joke.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to hit her with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And then let's see. So we've got young Janaea. She's number 21, Janaea Curtis.
Oh, I didn't know she was on your team.
Yeah, dog. Trust me, she's on my team. I was getting her. No way I was letting her go. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I didn't really know her. I mean, we had spoken on Instagram, a bit, but and I had actually watched the TSXL webcast just so I could get eyes on her, because I was like, I'm pretty sure this girl is something. And I told Anthony, I was like, you need to get her. You need to get her.
Yeah.
And I think that probably was around that same time, because I know Krista knew her too from up there. And yeah, we snagged her. That was a huge win for us. She's incredible. And I think your guys' team is going to dominate. Oh, I mean, I'm obviously trying to play nice here, but yeah, I definitely think that I think we're looking good. And I think we have a lot of dedication to each other, and a lot of teamwork and obviously some of these teams are completely local, like Dallas Vibe, and they're all from there, so they obviously have that benefit. But I definitely think that we have a lot of chemistry on our team, and I think it'll work out in our favor. But I don't want to leave anybody out, so let me finish the roster before somebody yells at me.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I think we're on number 4. We just went through
so we got Janaea. Yep. And then so let's go down south. We've got the 2 Georgia girls. We've got Nicole Gates, number 28. And we got Alexis Laser, number 18. And my cat's back here making awful noise. I hope you can hear it.
It's like a beatbox. He's making some music.
But really, can you hear it? Because I'm going to make him stop if you can hear it.
Hardly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Let him party.
Yeah. And then we've got, in Florida, we've got Alex Delmar, number 88. And then back up in Tennessee, we've got Sobe Glass, number 84. So we're kind of the southeast, east, plus 1 Texan. So we're kind of all over the place. But
that is awesome.
Squad's looking good for sure.
There we go.
And is it public, or can we talk about the new home field or potential new home field? Yeah,
it's public as of a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Yep. So again, this is probably a better question for Rosie, but to my knowledge, Anthony was working with the owner of Invincible's Paintball Park. We've got a new speedball field set up there, and I know the Palm Beach Reckless family that Brad and Rosie work with a lot. They're going to be involved with helping to maintain it, when we're not there. And it's definitely incredible, very fast development that they made happen. So
that's nice. There we go.
Yeah.
And the WNXL is going to be at the Sunshine, the Mid-Atlantic, and then of course World Cup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then one second. Let me get.
So
for the listeners out there,
I don't know why she just doesn't bring the cat on the show.
Yeah, we need the cat.
Just hold the cat. I heard a little meow. Why don't you just hold the cat?
She wants all the attention. She's like back there, just like there's a bag.
Bring her
and
on.
She's just smashing the bag.
Bring her on.
She's like, okay, it's 9:00. It's 9:30. Like, yeah, because we're East Coast, but.
Next time it gets mischievous, bring it on the show.
Just hold it right here.
Yeah.
I should have just shoved it out of the room.
It was clearly a she, Tyler.
Yeah, I have both. I have both. Don't worry. I've got one male and one female cat. You're good.
So we got the Femme Fatales as well. And then we've got Dallas Vibe, Chesapeake Cheetahs, Sacramento Diamonds, and Destiny. I believe that is all of the teams that will be playing 2022.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. And there's definitely some really quality players. I don't want to make this all about the Heroines. There's definitely some players that have been putting in the work on these other teams that I'm definitely looking forward to playing against. So shout out to them, because obviously we need really high level players to be playing in this league to make it, succeed. So
yeah.
What are you most excited about next year with the WNXL?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, right now, it's we haven't even had one event. So right now it's like, okay, how is this going to go? Like, is it going to, obviously, like in your mind, you see yourself going out there and it's all a good time, and, you play your best and you obviously want to win, but it's like, I don't, until we have that one event under our belt, it's kind of hard to say, have any, I guess, thoughts about it, but, I don't know. I just hope that people take it seriously. Not only the spectators, the men in paintball, the rest of the paintball community.
Yeah, of course.
But the players inside the WNXL, I hope that they take it seriously and aren't just like,
Well, that's going to be crucial. That's going to be very important because
Yeah.
obviously there are going to be people that are hard critics, and
Mhm.
and it's going to show if people are working, if people are taking it seriously, right?
Right.
And if you want the pro tag, you got to earn it, no
Right.
matter what. So,
Yeah.
what do you think the players in the WNXL have to do in order to earn that?
In order to earn the title, or in order to
Sorry,
earn
the respect, the respect as a pro player.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the title of pro is a whole different conversation. There's a lot of weight that kind of title carries, and I understand why they called it pro. I mean, whenever it was
Me
first being
too.
discussed,
Yeah.
I was kind of, my vote was for like Premier League, like that's kind of what I wanted to call it, because I knew that when we called it pro, like it was going to have, you've got an apples to apples comparison. Like we have a pro league, so like you're setting people up to compare the two, and
Sure.
I mean, I kind of wanted it to be, in my mind, like its own entity that you couldn't necessarily compare. It's like apples to oranges, and we're creating something new. But I understand why they called it pro, and I think that
I don't see any problem with calling it pro, you know, at all.
But I
Just
mean,
like there's the WNBA and there's the NBA, and
right.
it's
Sure.
If you are the best of that demographic, you're the best female paintball players.
Yeah.
You are pro.
Right,
That is the bar. You have to start somewhere, and so if that's the bar, now we know how to fill into that, right?
Yeah,
So
and that's my only thing is, if we're going to call this pro, then it needs to be the best women in paintball. And
Absolutely.
I mean, I think by virtue of the way that the first season was put together, a lot of teams, like I said, I know Vibe is focused on regional, like getting girls that are in that area that can practice with them, and that's fantastic because look at B and like how quickly she's progressed, just being able to be there and have the support, from everybody there. So I mean, I understand wanting to keep your team regional, but I do think that as it grows, it's going to be you're the best and you're in the league, or you're not and you're not, because that's how we create this the bar. I mean, so right now I feel like it's kind of like you get who you got to fill roster spots. You get who you can get. I mean, we obviously took it very seriously, but like I said, this all kind of came together just this year. So I know teams were getting their rosters together, but I hope that as the years go on, it does become clear who should be in the pro women's league, and then who fills in those divisional spots that hopefully come at some point.
Yeah, and this is year one ever,
Exactly.
ever.
Yeah.
So people, be nice, please. It's like this is going to develop and grow, and the women are going to be pouring their hearts and souls into the game out there. And we have to make sure that everybody out there goes above and beyond to support paintball, because that's number one. This is all love for this game and this craft, and this is nurturing the future of women's paintball for the rest of paintball's history, and this is on the show now. We got the cat on the show.
I think we got a meow.
Oh yeah, she's growling at me.
She's not happy.
But we're just gonna sit here until no, I'm kidding.
There we go. But yeah, it's year one, so let's go above and beyond to boost this to the moon. Let's get it going.
I think people are really short-sighted, and you're gonna have, no matter what decision you make, if it's public, you're gonna have some people that like it, some people that don't. Period.
Yeah.
But I agree. One thing that I absolutely hope is that the women paintball players, the women professional paintball players, take their, and this was the same in the men's division as well. This has been a big gripe of mine for a long time. Unfortunately, we're finally past that in the pro league, where back in the day, you'd go to a pro tournament and half the teams are drinking, they're out partying, they're not taking it serious. How do you expect anybody to take you serious as a professional athlete when that was the culture of professional paintball in the men's division, right? So it's no different. It's just, I hope that the women professional paintball players also do the same thing and understand the responsibility that they have to be the best athletes they can, take it seriously, do the drills, do the work hard, and leave it all out there on the field and be good examples, because you guys are going to immediately be role models for somebody, right? And that's a big responsibility. But I hope that all of the players in the WNXL are prepared for that and really take that on, because if they do, then it can really become something big. But if the players are irresponsible with that, you're going to get a lot of backlash. And it's, again, same thing as in the men's pro league. It was the same thing for so long. Finally, I think we're at a point to where, I mean, Ty, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking wrong, but I don't think there's any, like, you go to a NXL event, I don't think anyone's really out partying. Maybe there's one or two. I don't know. but I guess
not
I don't
really.
know. We
Yeah.
don't know him, and there's a reason we don't know him, right? So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, as long as you're putting in the work, like
correct.
that's my biggest thing. And like you said, there's going to be dissenters about everything.
Of course.
And I've honestly just gotten to where I just don't care. Like I just tune it out.
That's
like
it.
I
Yes.
like I know what I can do. I know that the people that know me from my home field or that I've played with in the past, like some of the guys in Cali, like they know what I have to offer. And so I don't feel like I need to like justify, I don't need to go on a Facebook fight with somebody over the WNXL. I mean, like you just have to have confidence in
You're
yourself.
not arguing on Facebook?
I have a Facebook and I literally use it to sell trauma jerseys. Gosh, no, but really.
You're not using it to debate with your fellow followers?
Absolutely not. I can't even tell you the last
You've
time
been
I
wasting your
commented on
time.
something that's like not, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. You just gotta, I'm always just kind of the opinion of you just don't really say much, go out there, do your thing and let that speak for itself. So I'm hoping that we can,
best believe PTG has your back, and we're going to be full force cheering on the WNXL and really rallying. And I want to actually
I'm excited to watch. Like I said, I'm a fan of some of these players, you being one of them. I'm a fan, so I'm excited to watch. Like seeing the capabilities on the field, I just want to see more. So I'm excited. My eyes are definitely on it. I'm going to be, tuned in and hopefully a lot of people will be. I think they will.
For sure.
Yeah, I want to talk about the webcast and how that's kind of going to work. So what exactly is going on with that? They're going to have the field. I don't even know what they call the field that it's going to be webcasted on, because it's obviously not the premier field.
Yes.
So we'll have the premier field. Okay, awesome.
So that field, and I believe I can speak on this. I did try to clear this with Anthony first. So we'll have banners. We'll have the WNXL on the field, like painted on the field, just like the NXL.
Nice.
We'll have a digital scoreboard, I believe, and webcast. So the webcast, I believe, is multiple cameras. I think 4. I don't know exactly. They sent a chart. It's been a minute, so I believe that they're working to make sure that it's quality. Because that was one of my opinions that when Anthony asked was, yes, we want a webcast, but also we want a webcast that's worth watching. I know everybody's probably watched a webcast, whether it was of Paintball or something else, where it was kind of halfway done. So you're kind of not following. So you're kind of like not really watching it. And so for me, a big thing was, if you're going to put the time and effort into having a webcast, let's make sure that it's, you can follow it and that it's worth the time and the effort to do. So I think they're working hard to make sure it's quality.
Yeah, the plan is actually a 5-person staff with 12 cameras.
Yep. So they've even upgraded
4
it.
moving,
I heard about it.
4 moving and 8 fixed. Okay. I think they're going to do an amazing job with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
even better.
A lot of cameras. Yeah, that's a good staff. It's a good crew. I mean, I think it's going to look good. And you know what? It might teach us something over on the other side that we can do this, like, again, this is like I think the whole concept of it with the teams actually having ownership. And another cool thing we haven't even touched on this though is the profit sharing that the league is going to do from merchandise sales and things like that. I mean, that is something that I wish the NXL did for the pro teams, right? Like if we could, and I know that they've kind of dabbled with wanting to do team merchandise and give royalties for that. Be a great concept, right? Like finding ways to generate revenue to give back to, whether it's the prize pool or just like a base salary for the pros, anything. And the WNXL is kind of laying the foundation. That's why I'm so excited. We get to kind of test this out over there and see how it works. And it could really teach us a lot of things about what is capable in our sport, or what's possible, I should say, right?
For sure.
Yeah, so I had no clue about that. What's the deal on that, Marsh? The 6 teams all have equal share, I guess, in the WNXL. Is that right?
Correct. I think there's 8 owners actually. I think Tom Cole might be
that's
one,
right. Yeah.
And
then the NXL as well.
No, who is the other owner? Is there another owner? Is it 7?
No, I think it's 8 with the NXL. Yeah,
but I don't remember what the 8th is, and I've spoken to Anthony about this, and I've already kind of forgotten all the fine details.
Mm-hmm. But that's just amazing, the whole concept. So,
but like I said, that's something that I know Anthony worked really hard to try to to make
Correct.
to shape in the most effective way for the league
Yeah.
to be functional. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're definitely.
So I think I have it here actually. Yeah. So voting is done by 6 teams. Commissioner Jason Trozen,
Yes,
NXL
Jason.
owners Tom Cole for a total of 8 votes. So I think ownership is WNXL, separately owned league working in conjunction with the NXL. The NXL has some ownership in the league, just as the 6 original teams. So I think 7 owners, maybe.
Mhm.
But either way, it's an amazing idea. I do wonder, and I assume that as more teams come into the pro division over there, they will also have some sort of ownership in that. I just think it's a really cool thing because you're also like, the teams are now responsible for, what do you want to get out of it, right? It motivates you and entices you to promote what you're doing, which is in turn good for the sport. It motivates you to get people to watch your games and to come to events. It's an interesting idea. I definitely like it. And I'm just excited to see what comes from it.
That is a lot of cameras on the field. 12 cameras.
Yeah, it's a
Hey,
lot.
the more the merrier. Hey, we need some D-side action, guys. We need
There
some
we go.
We need
D-side-
some
we need
D-side
some
action.
D-side
Hey,
action.
I remember you posted something from my
Yeah,
Dorito side.
yeah, I sure did.
Drama that I
Yeah,
had
and
going
because
on.
honestly, I have been playing D-side forever and ever until basically the Heroines, and they were kind of like, "All right, Jen, you're getting in the lizard," and I was like, "All right, let's
Getting
go."
in the lizard. Hey, if you
Dude.
want any fame, you got to go dive into the lizard.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Mhm.
Dorito side players are just unappreciated. I'm
And
sick of it.
honestly, like even in comparison to I guess a couple years ago, like back whenever I first kind of got back into the sport in 2018, the cameras on the D side have even gotten better since then. I mean, I remember you pretty much didn't get to see much of anything over there for the longest time. So
Mhm.
definitely.
I love that the lizard, Lucian Blackburn, was the first person I ever heard call it that. And he was so funny. If anybody knows Lucian, you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about. He's hilarious.
Actually, funny story. I actually sold a Lucian trauma jersey to Colt
Ooh.
Roberts.
For some
Oh,
dough.
wow.
That's a nice
Yeah,
jersey.
Yeah, that was one that somebody else on trauma had possession of it. But yeah, that was definitely a good one.
Yeah, man,
For
that is
sure.
so awesome. We're really excited to watch some WNXL, and
Yeah.
they're going to be doing a BKI MVP award given at the end of the event, which
Oh,
will
yeah.
be pretty cool as well, and to include custom commemorative apparel as well, which is going to be really nice.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's awesome.
Yeah, again, it's just about building the excitement, right? Telling
Mhm.
stories. And, that's why even like the carbon golden barrel thing is so cool. And, giving players awards, you have to do that in sports. That's why the iconic awards I thought were so cool. Just highlighting different players for their work throughout the year. I mean, it's something that the sport needs. Every sport has it. Again, it's about the stories. It's about entertainment. You have fans of the game. Give them content when they're not watching the pro stuff. You got to do that. Give them content to consume, stuff to, fall even more in love with their favorite player. You have to tell the stories of these individuals. So, yeah, it's so crucial. And I think Anthony definitely understands that. Lori does too. And so them at the helm is definitely a good thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jen, what do you think is something that paintball as a whole could do better to get recognized by the masses?
Man, you're hitting me with the hard questions. It's almost 10 o'clock here.
You want the easy
Marsh,
ones?
come
What am I
on.
supposed to ask? What's your favorite color?
Yeah, black. There we go. Done.
Damn.
Yeah, gosh. That was one thing I told Anthony when I first joined the team. I was like, our jerseys have to be mostly black or I'm not playing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're going to like your YouTube thumbnail that I made.
Perfect. Gosh. I don't know. And honestly, I mean, I think it just goes back to there are so many people that have no idea that this exists. Like, I mean, absolutely
Correct.
none. So, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily, I mean, I think you're right about the ESPN. So, for example, like when I think it was House of Highlights and the ESPN, when those reels became available, my brother, who is not involved in paintball at all, sent them to me. And I was like, yeah, I filmed that. He's like, well, you filmed that. And then the second one, I was like, yeah, I know that guy. And it was just, I mean, like, it was just crazy because he doesn't know anything about paintball, but that reached him. So I think that, I definitely think just getting it in front of people, even if it's not in its complete form, like even if it's just
Correct.
a photo, like literally just a photo. I think my husband and I were at like GameStop once and something had a photo of paintball on it. And that blew my mind because I was like, I don't even think it was an actual paintball game. It was something else, but I don't know. It's just like so many people that that I knew from like before paintball. When I tell them like, yeah, I'm playing paintball now, I'm doing this pro women's league, they're like, what? Like, what is that? So I think just like showing people that it is a thing, whether they get into the actual nitty gritty of it or not, just kind of like curling. Like we all kind of question like, why is this a thing? But we all know of curling, right? So you don't know anybody that is into curling, but you know that it exists. So I think that if we can just somehow magically make people aware that it exists, I think that's is step one, like without question, step one.
Absolutely.
And I think that the paintball community is doing a really tremendous job of doing that one day at a time. You see everyone having fun with the posting and the reels and the amazing photographs like what you take, and just everybody out there. Seriously, you really do take great photos. And all of the videographers out there who are working really hard, let's all be sure to show them as much love as we can, because it means the world to them in their craft when you repost or when you comment or when you hit the save button on the side that boosts the algorithm for them. Just doing all these little things really helps the community as a whole, as we try to, like you said, just get it in front of as many eyeballs as we possibly can.
Yep. I definitely think that that's step one, is just
people
literally, and honestly, when I tell people like I play paintball, the first thing I always have to say is, no, I don't mean in your backyard, like with your friend. Like, I mean, it's so
serious.
Many people just have, and when you say paintball, like they think of, the
ping pong.
Yeah. the paintball gun that's on the wall at Dick's from, 2005 or whatever. So you have to like shape this for them. So I always try to find like a video that I can show someone just really quickly to try to get at least an image of what I'm even doing, because it's just such a bizarre sport, but incredible, obviously. So,
yeah, it is.
What is it you think that makes that separates the good players from the great players? Like, what is it about paintball that makes you a good player?
I mean, first thing is obviously never being okay with where you're at now. So like for me, I'm all the time like wishing I would have done something differently, or just finding a way to try to learn from every single little thing that I do, rather than just like, oh, I got a 3-pack, like, yay, like that's fantastic. But I feel like there's just always, and I actually said it in the bio that Heroines posted to me today, which is just, you always have to have an appetite for getting better, like no matter what. And I think that there's a lot of people that are in paintball that, I'm not saying it's not a high priority, but maybe they have other things, and they're just doing this because they want to do it. And even if they're good players, like even if they're actually really good players, then it's just, I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be a drive that that makes you get out of that complacency. And for me, like one thing that like I said, I watch so much paintball. Every single video that's uploaded to YouTube, like I watch them all. Everything. So it's just, for me, it's always, that's one thing that I've tried to incorporate, is just watching. And when I say that, let me put a disclaimer on that, high level paintball, pro, semi-pro, D2, even some D3, to try to watch them and watch what they do and try to incorporate that. So like, for example, Jackson Frey runs his vlog YouTube channel. And so
Blast Camp.
Of course. And so I watch a lot of his videos, and now I've obviously, like, I know all of his teammates because he's, I'm watching all his videos, and they're one of their front players, Zach Hogue. He, like, I've watched him play so much, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to incorporate like into my style of play, like these small little details of like what he does that are successful. Right. So it's just, for me, it's always about like finding these little things that can help you improve, the next time you go to the field. So I'm pretty much at the field every weekend. Like I'd say out of the 52 weeks of the year, I might miss 5 to 10 max, but like, I'm just all week, I'm trying to find something that I can learn from something online or Go Sports or whatever to try to incorporate. So for me, it's just always looking for the little inches. You're not going to become pro overnight. Like we all know that, but you got to start somewhere. So for me, it's just not being complacent with where you are and just looking at the little things, the tiniest things.
Those are words to live by.
That. Yeah.
Those are absolutely words to live by. And that is why you're able to play so well out there.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how often you play. Yeah, but you answered that. I love that.
Yeah, I play.
Yeah, you
all
have
the
to
time.
be at the field.
All the
have
time.
to. Time behind the gun. You got to play. If you want to get better, you just absolutely have to play.
Yeah. For sure.
Have to play, period. That's with anything though, right? It's all about experience and time behind whatever it is you're doing. You have to actually do it. I do love how you spoke about watching it though as well. I feel like that is a tremendous help, just watching paintball, watching anything. I started playing basketball. Sorry for the listeners, they're probably bored of this story, but watching basketball helped me learn how to play basketball. 100%. I never had coaches, never had, I never did it on any serious level. I play at the gym. That's it. Local pickup games. But watching has helped me so much. Like I would go into the gym and that's how I would learn, is by watching different moves. Okay, look at this step back three. Look at this crossover. Look at this movement. Here's how defenses break down. Here's how offenses break down. Here's how passing should go. I learned to read defenses by watching the game. And it's the same thing in paintball. You can learn how to read formation setup and like, okay, this team's up 2 points and here's how they're setting up, in a defensive posture. Here's how this team's attacking and look at the flow of that attack and how it's so even. Watch paintball. Watch as much as you can, get on to Go Sports. Even if the scoreboard's wrong, watch paintball, watch. And I'm just kidding. I love Go Sports. I'm a Go Sports fanatic. I have 2 accounts. I have one for myself, one to give to my friends, to watch our games. Like I love Go Sports, love that they do this for us because they give us literally like the most premier exposure of the game. And I get to learn from it. I get to use it and learn and rewatch our games and rewatch these massive moments and learn from other pros. It's like, Tyler always says, we have it in our phone because of them. Like you have all the pro games just in your phone, in your pocket, and it's all because of Go Sports. Yeah, there's no excuses, so huge shout out to Go Sports. If you guys are listening to this podcast and you don't have a Go Sports subscription,
sign up today.
You're tripping.
Let's go. Yeah. Straight up.
Sign up. Period. And also watch the free webcast that is going to be on the Premier Field, because the more people that watch that, watch it, share it, do everything. I can't wait until that is live, because we're going full campaign of sharing and making sure people are tagging people and just blowing it out. So I think the semi-pro players are going to be more famous than the pro players, and the WNXL players are going to be more famous than any, probably the most famous paintball player in the world is going to be someone from that field. Right. And the pro guys on the other field, we're just going to be over there like, oh man.
Well, I mean, honestly, like even if the Premier field is free, so obviously, as I'm sure this has been discussed by plenty of people, but the people that are paying for Go Sports are already involved in paintball. So
exactly,
if the Premier field, which has both the WNXL and the semi-pro teams playing on it, is free, and that can be shared on Facebook for free, obviously that's going to reach a different crew than Go Sports. Yep. And again, like I hope that it doesn't detract from Go Sports. I love watching Go Sports and I love their production. I think it's fantastic. And, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from them, but I'm hoping that maybe this webcast on the Premier field is like a stepping stone. And I'm glad that it's not just WNXL. I'm glad that it's also semi-pro. Like, I think that's awesome because I love watching semi-pro, and I know there's other,
for sure.
And it gives a different look. So if somebody doesn't understand, like has never seen paintball, it's going to give them a different look between, the WNXL and semi-pro, and just how different leagues or, divisions work and so on and so forth.
So once again, it's all love for paintball. Just tune in, support paintball, and we need more, as much paintball as we could possibly get out there. Let's boost it.
Yeah.
Jen, real quick, before we hop into the Discord questions, because if you don't know, the PTG fam has showed out. They heard you coming on the show. They have a ton of questions for you.
Oh, God.
Lori said I have to ask something about the Russians.
Oh, God. Oh, geez. I don't know. What did she say? What context did she give you?
That's all I got. All
right. I am a full-on Russian Legion loyalist till I die. I love the Russians. They are on a entirely different plane of existence in paintball than anything I've ever seen. It's like they play with, like, they can see through bunkers, man. I don't know. Like they're incredible, and I think they're super fun to watch. Even back, like I said, back whenever I was first introduced to paintball back in the late 2000s, like I remember watching them on whatever video, the DVDs, and the Russian, they were just different. They were just built different.
Now, is it just Russian Legion, or do you follow players like Fedorov, Mishka?
As well? Well, I mean, definitely Russian Legion, but I mean, they fit into that same group that I'm referring to. I mean, they're just, I don't know, their coaching is just phenomenal. I mean, they're just, in my mind, they are just like next level in terms of just like the mental
They are.
capacity for the game. It's insane. And I just don't know how someone can even achieve that level of awareness and togetherness. Like they play. And that's why I'm excited for them to have their full roster back, because
Me too.
those 5 starters that they have, it's like their chemistry. I don't know if I've ever seen a team. And I mean, I'm sure you guys might have, but it's like when I watch them play, it's like I've never seen a team that plays so together. It blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. In a way, a lot of their movements on the field is like kind of forged. I don't know if did you know that I used to play for the Russians?
Yes,
I played with them for 1 year.
I actually know that.
And so it's kind of wild. There is communication for sure, but a lot of it is timing. Like when I would go down the Dorito side, I would go down and shoot 3 or 4 people really fast and think I had a good point, and I'd come in and the coach would say, that was 24 seconds. It's supposed to be 15. You made a mistake.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa. And that's because the other players are on a timed kind of thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like the movements are really structured, and, you know, they probably got away from that a little bit. This was their old coach, Maxime, who to me was one of the best coaches of all time. I mean, Maxime that dude was a phenomenal coach. And their new coach, you know, Alexei is really good as well. But Maxime, I mean, he is just legendary in like the era that he coached that team. But to me, I was like, whoa, you guys like actually keep time of how long it takes, or how long until you move from your primary bunker to the second bunker, then from that bunker to the next bunker.
Yep.
Like it's crazy, you know, and I don't even know if I fully agree with it. Right. Because there's things that happen in a point that change the flow of things, and maybe you shouldn't make that move, you know, but it was very much so, you know, rigid in that way. And it's just an interesting perspective of how they look and approach the game. It's the most professional organization that is in paintball, period. You know, I don't think anybody would really argue that. They are just through and through. You know, back in Russia, they're playing Monday through Friday. They have facilities where they can sleep at the field. They wake up, they play. They have a fitness coach. You know, their fitness coach, oh my gosh, he's the man. He was the Russian ski Olympic coach.
Wow.
You know, and he's like 80 years old, and he's in better shape than most of us. It's crazy, you know? So their organization from top to bottom is just dynamite.
Yeah. I don't know why. I've just always been drawn to their style of play, just their discipline, their, I don't know, their tenacity, all of it. And again, it goes back to, I mean, I love that they forged their players, like their young players, up to be incredible top of the league players. You know, at a young age, and I'm glad that I'm happy to see that they're hopefully going to be back in full force. But yeah, I'm definitely a full on loyal Russian Legion fan for sure.
Nice,
good for you.
Awesome.
I'm blessed. I get to run alongside 2 of the greatest ever to come out of that camp with Fedorov and Mishka, and they're just something special, man. Outstanding shots, outstanding at maneuvering the field. Making the connections, and like you said, kind of seeing through bunkers and knowing exactly when and where to place shots and how to navigate the field. It's really inspiring to watch and be alongside. And anytime you watch the Russian players, it's exciting. You know, you're gonna have some exciting paintball out there.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
For sure. And they're kind of like those players where, you know, someone says, okay, well, what player, you know, inspires you to, like, for your play style, or that you try to emulate? And honestly, if I said Russian Legion, like, that would be not even a true answer, because I don't even know how you can get to that level without the type of training that those guys do. I mean, that's, to me, they're just next level. So
a lot of work.
Indeed, they are.
Insane. It's insane.
Yeah. All right, Jen, we're going to hop into the Discord for some questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I got to ask CB2K. He's been asking this in the Discord nonstop.
Oh boy.
Would you bring back the penalty box? He's obsessed with this question. He loves the penalty box. I think he wants it back. Are you familiar with the penalty box?
I am familiar with it, but I've never played it because I didn't play until 2018. Okay. So, but from what I recall, I don't think I would change it. I think I would leave. I would leave it as it is today.
Nice. Fair enough.
It was
and I
crazy.
don't really know why, but that's the feeling I have.
I mean, just coming flying out of the penalty box with sometimes you'd have, you know, a player, they're like, you know, this is when there was coaching too. So they'd be yelling like penalty box, and they're like getting ready for you to come out. And you're like, okay, here we go. Let's hope I can make it out of here.
Yeah. I don't know about all that.
It was crazy.
But I definitely don't agree with coaching. I definitely like the non-coaching.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Like the non-coaching.
Agreed.
It takes away such a pivotal aspect of the game that you have to have.
Yep.
We have got Rounder. He's wondering, will we be seeing you at the WCPPL this season?
Rounder, Mr. Jordan Caniglio. I wish.
Hey.
I wish. I wanted to last year. That didn't work out. I've been trying to get back out there and play with Warpath and those guys. But worst case, I might try to make it in 2023 because 2022 is so crazy with WNXL and my other team that I'm playing on. So it's definitely a little bit of a busy season. So, but I definitely will make it out there again. Like I can't give you a date, but I will be back for sure. At least once. At least once.
There we go.
All right, we got Shadow. If life was a video game, what cheat code would you use? You could only use one.
I mean, what are my options? What kind of cheat codes?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you
could jump like really, really tall buildings, or maybe
unlimited health, unlimited life.
Yeah, breathe underwater.
Respawn. Mine would be the unlimited life, 100%. The best cheat code, right?
Respawn.
Yeah, respawn.
Yeah, definitely unlimited life. I don't play a lot of video games, to be honest.
I know,
but my
neither.
favorite
Sorry,
ones are definitely like platform games. So I'm definitely going to go with unlimited lives. If we're
you're also going to get Snapshot VR here pretty soon. We're going to see you in the metaverse.
Perfect.
We're gonna do drills. We're gonna play. We're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be great.
Have you ever put one of those Oculus on?
No, never.
It's crazy. You're gonna flip.
All
yeah.
Right, well, now I'm convinced. I might have to.
Because seriously,
it's insane.
$300. Yeah, it's crazy.
Do it.
I didn't understand, and then I put it on and I looked around and I looked down and I had arms and legs and I was like,
That's
what?
Crazy. Yeah, I definitely want to try it. That'd be
like,
fun to try.
It's unreal once you see what's going on in there. You're like,
so does the game cost? Like, do you pay for the game as well? Like, I don't know how it works.
Yeah, it's in beta testing right now. So you get access to the Discord, not ours, theirs, and they'll give you like a download link, I think. But I don't know. I think it might be $20. I think maybe that, I don't know. I don't know if it's free, if it's $20, or if it's only $20 when they release the full version. I'm not quite sure, but it's easy. It's kind of a nominal thing.
And it's so worth it. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely support Snapshot. All right, we got Tonebone90. What has been your favorite moment or memory of playing paintball so far in your career?
Oh, gosh. Favorite moment or memory? I don't know. I mean, obviously the WNXL exhibition was incredible. I think there was one point I got like a 4-pack or something. Like that felt pretty good. You know, you're on the webcast. And that was the other thing about the exhibition was that there were so many girls involved, and there was 20 minutes, but you knew you were only going to get limited spins. So you really had to make the most of like the spins you got because you were spreading the time amongst everybody. So when you only get 5 spins, it's like, well, I can't really screw up on one. So there was a lot of pressure to make the best of all of them. So I definitely felt like there was some where I could have done better. You know, I'm my own worst critic. But there was that one where I flew down the D side that felt pretty good in terms of the WNXL. Outside of that, probably winning the series with my divisional squad last year. We won 3 events last year, and at the last event, I think through.
Way to go!
Thank you. Through every one of the finals matches, I think we mercied every team, so that felt pretty good.
Sheesh,
something like that. And we were just on a roll. We were just on fire. My guys were on fire, and I don't know. It felt good to, like I said at the beginning of last year, we took the reins. My husband and I took the reins, and we put our own time and effort into building a team and handpicking these guys and basically making this happen on our own, making it happen and putting it together. So when you see the results of your own effort and your own hard work, and not just, you know, hopping on an opportunity, it's like it actually feels like something has paid off all the time and effort. Not even just like the actual practice and grinding. I mean, just the time and effort it takes to like run a team and organize everybody and get everybody on board, and, you know, all the fine details that go into it. So I think just the overall success of our efforts last year was probably, and I've even said if I never played paintball again last year, the season I had, including the WNXL exhibition, that would have been enough. Even if I was, you know, paralyzed today, like that would have been a great year for paintball for me. So it's
very rewarding. Yeah, that's awesome.
For sure.
Love that.
Absolutely. All right, from Rounder, Tyler versus Berdnikov. Who's winning?
Tyler Harmon?
Of course
no,
she's-
Tyler Humphreys.
Oh gosh.
Yes, Tyler Harmon.
I had to clarify. He wasn't specific.
She's
so.
for sure gonna choose Berdnikov. She loves the Russians.
I do. I think his jump shots are insane. So I mean, like, if we're talking like,
Oh, we
you
talking
guys
jump shots?
if you guys are
jumps?
right, no, like I just imagine like, and this comes from somebody who's also 5'3", so like I can't see over many bunkers. So if he's in a tough spot and he's got to jump, I mean, his jump shot's killer. But I don't know, you guys. I saw that one reel of you, Tyler, one ball gunfighting. So I don't remember who it was.
I've got my money on Tyler.
It was just
sure.
insane. So I mean, when you get to the top of the league, it's just I don't even know if I could bet the money. To be honest, I wouldn't feel comfortable betting the money.
It's Tyler, unless you want to not be able to pay your bills. It's Tyler.
But yeah,
don't sick Berdnikov on me. That guy's an animal.
Malloy's my homie.
Strategic.
He's a killer. He actually
he is.
This was 2019, and so I'm not a jersey collector. I don't really collect jerseys because I only like to collect jerseys I can wear, and no one has size small and medium, so I don't collect jerseys. But it was 2019, and I had hit up Malloy, who I had kind of spoken to a couple times. I was like, "Yo, like I need a Malloy jersey to finish out my my very small, non-existent paintball jersey collection because he's definitely my favorite player. He's a cool dude." And this was Texas 2019, and he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, I've got a jersey. Like, I can send it to you in the package new, or I can wear it and it can be game worn." I was like, "Look, dude, I want a game worn jersey. It's going to be a winning jersey. Like, let's go." And that was the 9-second point jersey. So I have the 9-second point jersey from when they came back on Impact when they were down by like 5, and they won that 9-second point. So I've got that one. So definitely got to stick with the man himself.
That's a treasure.
But I don't know if I'd put anybody else up against T-Harm. That's for sure.
Hey, and then, man, that game was crazy. Do you remember watching that? You saw that, I'm sure.
I was at home yelling at my TV because I was so mad that they had gone down 5 points. I mean, you can ask my husband. It was when they started coming back, I was like, "Oh, forgive me for speaking bad about you, or being disappointed." So they're insane.
They are. But, really, like we said, really fun to watch. Always exciting ball. And then we got Medusa. Which has your heart more, the camera or the gun?
Gun.
The gun.
Nice.
Like, without question. And like I said, I spent all of COVID year shooting media, and I love it. And that's a whole different, conversation we can have. But when it comes down to it, when I'm at the field, I'll tell people like, "Yeah, I'll snap some photos today," and I never do because I don't ever want to stop playing. So my honest answer is gun.
Yep, it's addicting. It's too much fun.
I love it. All right, from our man Cam. Shout out to Cam Clifford. What do you think will be the big WNXL team rivalry? What players and teams stick out as the most powerful heading into the 2022 season?
I mean, I think my honest answer is probably Destiny and us. I think they've got a lot of strong players on that team, a lot of experience, some solid gunfighters. So I definitely think that that'll be a good match, and hopefully a lot of good matches to come this season between us and them. So that's probably my best bet on that.
Yeah, let's pack the stands out there, huh? Let's get the stands packed and have some cheering and have some fun out there at these events. All right, we got CM Harry. How many teams would you like to see inevitably in the WNXL? Are any of the WNXL teams practicing against semi-pro or professional teams this year? That was his question.
Yeah, so honestly, if we could get to like, I don't really like putting a number on how many teams I'd like to see. I'm almost more concerned with making sure that the teams that are in the league are held to a certain standard. And I mean, you wouldn't, like, let's say if we had 16, that's a bad example. We have 20 men's pro teams now, and we wanted 25. So we just pulled up a random 5 and just let them fill the roster. Like, I just don't feel like there would be any benefit to that. So it would be nice to have 10 teams, right? But like, I don't want 4 more teams made up of people who aren't the quote unquote best female players in paintball. So, I mean, as long as we can get through this year and find out who's the best and who belongs, and if we can fill out the rest of the, however many more teams we can gather, and then let's do it. But I don't really necessarily have a certain number in mind.
Understandable. And then any pro teams or semi-pro teams that any of the WNXL teams have been playing against that you know about?
So when we were at Prime before World Cup, we were playing against a couple D2 teams, Jungle Cats and Huntsville Hype, and then I believe we were playing some CEP guys. I think those are and then I believe when we were at Tiki's, I think we had a couple spins against Tampa Bay Notorious, and I believe they are in the MVPS kind of upper divisional. We are obviously not playing against any pro teams. They've got their own schedule. Men's pro teams or co-ed pro teams, they've got their own schedule. But, we play whoever's there, whoever the best teams they have to offer at the place that we are playing at that time. So,
Yeah.
But,
I like the name, the Jungle Cats. That's a great team.
Those guys are great.
That is a good name.
Those guys are good for sure.
Yeah. They got a rad name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shoot. Okay, so I think my last question from the Discord, Ty, is gonna be from the Dorfster 420. Shout out to the Dorfster, Russ. I would love to hear what you think about the best way to bring wider appeal to a female audience. How can we get more girls to pick up a gun and get out to the local field?
So one thing for me kind of was in introducing paintball to new players, and not only women, but like I brought one of my coworkers who was a male to paintball because he saw my stuff on Instagram. He was like, what are you, what is that? And I showed him videos, and he actually came out to the field with me. And even not just for women, but even for new players in general, I think that one of the most gratifying things is getting that first kill, right? So I think whenever, and I'm specifically talking about speedball. I mean, getting people to play rec ball is a different conversation, but if we want them to get into the sport for real and play the version of paintball we play, I think that when they come out to the field is not only just, because everybody's like, oh, you take your hits too. Like you come out and you get beat and you learn, like that's one thing. And while I do think that that's a very valid point of view, I think making sure that they see the benefit from their side as well. So making sure that they're learning, what to do differently and then how to get the gratification from that. So once they learn, oh, I need to be in this bunker versus this one, don't stand here in the same spot. When I move, I got this kill on this guy. I just think that connecting those dots is like the most gratifying part of learning as a beginner. And I think specifically with women, a lot of it, at least what I've seen at my home field, is those growing pains right at the start of taking your hits and, getting beat might not be as worth getting through to get to the reward. So I think that, and I'm getting a little complex here, but I think just getting to the rewarding aspect in a way that is more digestible for beginners, I think is what makes them want to come back. And that, I think that's true for a lot of women I know. For me, I don't care. It never bothered me. I don't care about getting shot or whatever. Like that was never a thing. But I know for a lot of women that is. So I think showing them that while you're playing, when you're getting yours as well, it's not just, oh, this isn't fun. I'm out here getting shot. So hopefully that all makes sense. I don't know if that came out a little jumbled, but
no, it does. Absolutely. Yeah, that's important. It's we got to make sure that we're out there giving it our all, and then you're gonna have production out of that as long as everybody's
and if it's
trying
not
their
fun,
hardest.
I mean, if no one's having fun, they're not going to come back. So I guess that's a big part of it too, is making sure that it's fun. And if it's not fun, then especially with women, I think that's, like I said, something I've seen in a lot of women is like, they're like, no, like, why? Like, I'm not wasting my time. But I guess a lot of guys maybe are like, I'll do it or whatever. So maybe that's just like a difference. I'm honestly not sure. I'm just spitballing here, but
you bring up a good thing though. I mean, everything is always competing for time, right? Whether it's a relationship, a sport, an activity, a hobby, a learning, like it takes time out of your day. So, how does somebody value their time? Are they going to spend 8 hours coming to the paintball field? Well, it has to be worth it to them. And so we have to do whatever we can to make that experience good for any players.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Because otherwise they're going to go spend 8 hours snowboarding or golfing, or they can go and golf for 4 hours and have 4 hours to do whatever else they want, so we have to make sure that the time they spend at the paintball field is a good time.
Yeah. Yep. And also to that point, I also want to say, I know for a lot of women, it is annoying to come to the field and you're the only woman amongst 30, 40 guys. Like I understand that that's not super welcoming. And I do think that is one thing that might slowly shift over the next little bit, especially with WNXL and seeing more women just kind of come out of the woodwork. I mean, even a couple are coming out to my field that I had never seen before. So I think once there's even if it's just a small community that makes them feel a little bit more welcome. Because imagine you go to a ballet class and it's just you and a bunch of women. Do I want to be here? I don't know. Maybe not. So, I mean, that's obviously something to consider, but I'm also of the opinion that if you want to do it, you're going to do it. So
That's
that was
it.
me. I didn't care. I'm here to ball. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And you're on the forefront of
Oh, yeah.
something very special. I truly believe that. And we're excited to watch and support WNXL and all the female players coming up in the game. And if you guys ever need help or any advice, we are always here. And we want to nurture this sport in any way that we can. And the last question that I have is just, I know you've owned and ran a team. So any advice on doing that? Because I know that's a big task.
Yeah, and that's obviously a big thing for newer players too, is finding people to play with. And honestly, that's exactly what I would say is you have to find others who are committed. Like that's one thing I cannot stand. It's just like, oh, I can't make it, or they told you they could make it and they can't. Like if you want to get better, one of the most important things, in my opinion, is finding a set of players that you can play with consistently, like all the time. I have this one player, like I said, I normally play front Dorito, and I have this one player, his name is Will Cunane, and he's my 2 on Dorito side. And I have spent the last 2 or 3 years playing alongside this guy, and he's made me a better player. He was a 1 and he switched to play as a 2. And it's just like, without these guys that play, consistently with you all the time, it's hard to get into that mode and get into that, those growing phases. If you're playing with some random people every time, you don't have codes, you don't have a, awareness for each other's body language or things like that. So I think step 1 is just finding guys that are committed to playing and to getting better in the same fashion that you are, and then play every weekend, all the time. Play with those guys. Don't go play with some. I mean, you can obviously go play with whoever you want, but for me, that was the key, was just finding that group and growing with them over the course of years and making each other better.
Yeah. That's really how you get good, is you have to, because it's a team sport, you can be the best player in the world. If you don't connect with your teammates and you don't really put the puzzle pieces together out there, you're not going anywhere. So building that as the foundation and really nurturing that team aspect is everything, for sure.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, damn, Jenn, this has been an amazing episode. This was awesome to actually get to sit down and talk with you. Thank you for your time. I think there's so many great things coming this next season. I'm excited to watch you and your team, see what you guys do and what you guys can accomplish. And I'm excited to be part of it as well. Like I said, I know both of us, Tyler and myself, are going to try to get over there and do some commentating and make sure we're active in that side of the sport as well. So before we let you go, is there any any sponsors you want to thank, social media platforms that you want to shout out? How can people find you, follow you?
Yeah. So first thing, obviously, is thank you guys for even considering an episode to talk about the WNXL. I think a lot of people are a little misinformed and don't have a clue what's going on. So I'm just glad that you guys took the time to try to get some attention on that, just based on your platform.
We're huge fans. We're going to be legitimately yelling. Yeah, we're going to be on the sidelines. Let's go.
All right, let's go. But yeah,
some PTG pom-poms.
Yeah.
For sure. So obviously, like I have already mentioned once, twice, 3 times, Anthony and Lori with Boston Paintball and BKI and Paintball Combine and every other thing they run multiple fields and multiple leagues, and they're just, I would never be involved with this if it weren't for them. So a huge shout out to them and the sponsors that Heroines has secured for this season. Planet Eclipse, JT Paintball being our main 2 sponsors. Those guys have been nothing but supportive of us. So I'm looking forward and everybody says this, the big cliche, to shooting and wearing the best gear in the game. But like, I was wearing and shooting that before. So, I'm more than blessed to be sponsored by those 2 companies. And now we've got our new field, Invincible Paintball Park in Florida. So if you're in South Florida, check that field out as well. Other than that,
awesome.
My family at home, Paintball Central Greensboro, shout out to those guys, and my home team Underground for supporting me and allowing me to take on this other side paintball journey as well. Those guys have been nothing but supportive and stood behind me all this time. So
cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
And then do you have Instagram or anything like that people can follow you at? And we're waiting on the YouTube channel. We know the YouTube channel's coming. You're going to have an awesome YouTube that you're going to be able to show the world about, women's paintball at the highest level. So we can't wait to see that as well.
Yep. So my Instagram is just my name, Jenn Fulk, straight across, JENNFULK. And funny story, I actually do have a YouTube account, and there is like 2 videos on it that I shot of like, I think NRG and like Crisis playing some raw footage, just stuff like that. Nothing fancy, but I do have one, and I've considered doing some other stuff, but I haven't done anything yet.
We'll be on the lookout for that. And Jenn, good luck out there on the field.
Appreciate
Keep
it.
dominating. We are so appreciative of you and everything that you do for paintball. So keep it up, and we'll be here cheering you on the whole way.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you guys
Absolutely.
so much for having me. Seriously.
Thanks, Jenn. You have a great one.
You too.
Have a good night.
Peace.
All right, PTG fam, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That one was another absolute banger. It was amazing to sit down and speak with Jenn. Just what a very well articulated individual, such a great representative for the sport of paintball. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you guys would like to support the show, we would be greatly appreciative. You guys could head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the Patreon link, and get access to our Discord when you sign up for any of the Patreon tiers. And in the Discord, we offer a ton of cool stuff. So it's just another extension of PTG, and in turn, it's a great way to support the show. Our website was brought to you by Rusty Glaze at Concept Pursuit. If you guys need a website, Rusty is your guy. All right, PTG fam, as always, we'll see you very soon.